Hello and welcome. I'm a hotel AI expert with a deep background in modern hospitality operations, and I am so pleased to welcome all of you, the students of Europe Hotel School, to your online learning journey. We are really looking forward to supporting your professional growth in this amazing industry.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll uncover a hidden vulnerability that exists in pretty much every hotel. Then we'll look at the old, high-risk way this has been managed. After that, we'll dive into the proactive AI solution that's changing the game, see exactly how it works with something called a digital twin, and finally, we'll tie it all back to what really matters, guest safety and financial stability. Let's get right into it.
So, let me ask you a question. When you think of a hotel's critical systems, what comes to mind? Probably the booking platforms, maybe the climate control, but what about the systems that work completely behind the scenes? The ones that are absolutely essential for safety and security, but are totally invisible to a guest. Well, that brings us to our first section, the hotel's hidden vulnerability. And it all comes down to the critical role of emergency power. These are the silent guardians, the systems that spring to life when everything else goes dark. Think about it. During a power failure, these uninterruptible power supply systems, we call them UPS for short, are completely non-negotiable. They have to keep the emergency lights on, the security cameras recording, and the fire alarms active. And just as importantly, they prevent the hotel's financial servers from crashing. Basically, safety, security, and all your data. It all depends on this one system working perfectly. But here is the real challenge. The heart of these UPS systems? It's a series of massive battery banks. And the problem is, they are a complete black box. You just can't look at a battery and know if it's healthy or if it's about to fail on you. And that difficulty led to what we now call the old reactive method. And as you can see from the subtitle, it was a strategy that was based a lot more on hope than on certainty. And, well, it carried a huge amount of risk. For any professional who's conscious about safety, this hope for the best approach is it's unacceptable. The middle of an emergency is the absolute worst time to find out a critical system has failed. It's a risk that modern hospitality just can't afford to take anymore. And the contrast between the old and new way is it's stark. The old way meant you were either wastefully replacing batteries on a fixed schedule, whether they needed it or not, or worse, you found out a battery was dead during an actual power outage. The new, proactive approach, though, it's a complete paradigm shift. It uses real-time data to actually predict failures and guarantee reliability right when you need it most. So how do we get to this new level of certainty? Well, that brings us to the proactive AI solution, and it's all centered around a really powerful new tool, predictive health reports. This is where platforms like Twice come into the picture. It's a pretty sophisticated AI that, in essence, opens up that black box we talked about. It doesn't just monitor the batteries. It analyzes their health and it predicts their future performance. This gives teams a crystal clear window into the real state of their emergency systems.
Now, this technology might sound really complex, but the concept behind it is actually incredibly elegant. So let's break down how these so-called digital twins work and how we get from a physical asset in a server room to a dynamic virtual model.
So what exactly is a digital twin? Well, imagine creating an exact virtual replica of every single battery bank in the hotel. And this isn't some static model. It's a living, dynamic simulation that the AI uses to run tests and make predictions, all without ever having to touch the actual physical hardware. The whole process is actually pretty straightforward. First, the AI is constantly collecting operational data, things like voltage, current, and temperature. Next, using that digital twin, it analyzes all this data to figure out the battery's current state of health. And then, and this is the magic, it uses that analysis to predict the future. It can identify which batteries are aging too quickly and calculate their true remaining lifespan. Okay, so all of this incredible technology leads us to our final section, from cost to certainty. Because this isn't just about better engineering. It has a really profound impact on a hotel's bottom line and its commitment to guest safety. Let's just consider this number for a second. A single hard shutdown of the hotel's financial servers, which means they lose power instantly without a proper shutdown, can lead to serious data corruption. The cost to recover that data can easily run into the thousands of pounds. And that's not even mentioning the operational chaos it causes. So the payoff here is clear, and it hits on multiple fronts. You're saving money by only replacing batteries that actually need it. You achieve almost 100% reliability for your most critical systems. Your maintenance plan goes from being a reactive headache to a state of guaranteed readiness.
And, maybe most importantly, the hotel is shielded from catastrophic and expensive data loss.
This quote really just sums it all up perfectly, doesn't it? By using AI to guard your power systems, you're creating this vital layer of protection that covers everything from the physical safety of your guests and staff to the priceless digital assets that your entire operation depends on.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. We've seen how AI can secure a hotel's hidden infrastructure. So the big question for you is what's next? As AI starts to take over these fundamental tasks, where else can we apply this kind of intelligence to completely redefine the guest experience? That's really the challenge for you, the next generation of hospitality leaders.